Well, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good day, wherever you are in the world listening to the Mile of Golf podcast. Straight into it this week. No introduction, music first, straight into it. I've got the guys here waiting to get stuck into this week's podcast. We're going to review last week's events. We're going to talk about some tipping, big fail for me. We'll talk about some other stuff, and I'm sure there's some stuff that we don't even know we're going to talk about that we will talk about. Rocket Man, how are you? Always makes him smile. I can see him smiling. If you can't see him, if you're listening to this, if it's your Wednesday morning or Thursday, Friday or Saturday, whatever day you pick it up, you can't see Rocket smiling because you're listening. But if you want to see him smile, you can tune over the YouTube channel where sometime between Wednesday and Thursday this episode goes live, and you can watch us flapping on. Rocket, how are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm
Excellent.
battling away. It's Tuesday. I'm a bit tired, but I'll battle on like the Aussie battler that I am.
Tuesday and a bit tired, so you must have a lot on keeping the internet world safe. Is there any breaches coming our way? Anything you need to advise the community about internet security?
And just think before you click.
Okay,
it's pretty simple. Think before you click. And then this week, like, the weather's been pretty ordinary up here, so I'm learning the volume and the veracity of Queensland rain, and when you add a little bit of wind, it actually does wake you up. It's quite loud.
Thoughts with all the Victorians that escaped Victoria in COVID lockdowns and now reside in Queensland.
Still walking around in shorts and t-shirt though, so I shouldn't whinge and complain too much.
I see. Right? So you don't have the fashion of the fairways on at the moment. I don't know where I saw it, but I saw something pop up about hoodies on golf courses recently. Of course,
Tyrrell.
Tyrrell's still rocking it. Tyrrell's still rocking the hoodie.
Yeah, Tyrrell giving the bird to everyone that doesn't think that a hoodie is, appropriate. Basically, middle finger to all the stuffy, just pompous old farts.
Well, I'm not a mathematician, clearly, but 66 2/3 of us that are on this podcast right now are representing a hoodie. Mike, you're the numbers man, is that right? 66 2/3. 33 and a third each.
66. Yeah, it's winter.
Yeah. Okay. So we're rocking a hoodie, which of course, if you're coming to your Drummond Golf store, you can find the winter ranges of hoodies coming through. This one that I've got on from Adidas. They make some good hoodies, as they're the one that Tyrrell Hatton wears. Mike, what have you got on? You're supporting your friends over there in the States. I can see that.
I got the boys last year, I reckon. They sent me over a hoodie, which is good. Tour Junkies hoodie. For anyone who wants to listen to two boys from Augusta talk about golf gambling, the Tour Junkies do a bit of that.
What's the big fella's name? The head dude.
Oh, DB is DB and Pat co-hosts. So Pat Perry and Dave Barnett. So yeah.
Mike, such as his demand for data leakage, is often secretes his services across to the Tour Junkies. You probably have another gig coming up there, wouldn't you, very soon with another major?
No. Oh, no, don't. That's Little Birdie. Little Birdie.
Okay.
Yeah. So Little Birdie boys, they're Aussie mad gamblers, and they podcast record tomorrow for the majors, which is good with Marcus Fraser's brother.
Okay, very good. So I'll retract that. I'll retrace my steps there. Mike is on the Little Birdie podcast. So if you like your gambling, and that's not a gambling, this isn't gambling, but Mike does that on that podcast. You can listen to them, but also to Junkies. Mike's a very good friend of those guys, and he's got their hoodie on. Rocket, what t-shirt? You got a t-shirt on?
Yeah, work one.
Oh, okay. Can I see it? Still can't see it.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, enough of that. Any golf? Have you guys? No golf?
I played 9 holes. It's Melbourne, so it's getting tough. And I think it was maybe Saturday or Sunday night. My wife got home late from wherever she was, and she was supposed to be over a couple of hours. I think it was haircut day, so Saturday. And I shot off to the local at about 4:45 and got there. And the bloke said, "You're not going to get many holes in." I was like, "You don't know."
Speaking to the wrong person, my man.
Please.
Do you know?
I walked out to the first tee, and there was 6 guys about to tee off
5 minutes before sunset.
And I was like, "I'll go ahead of you boys if you're okay." I was gone. So yeah, I got around easily. Got around 9 holes easily before the 5:30 sunset. But the only shot that I hit was 18. 18 is a little par 3, and I had a fluoro ball by that stage, and I hit it, and off the bat, I could not see it to save my life. But I've probably played the course 10 to 20,000 times. So by feel, I knew roughly where I was. I thought I was short in the bunker, but happily, I was 10 feet from the flag. Missed the birdie putt, but yeah, it's good. That was about as close as I got to playing golf this week.
Oh, very good. I had around 35 points. 35 points with 2 wipes, by the way. The training regime that I'm on, I had some arm pump, or I think I was playing with Doc, and he called it DOMS. I forget what I'll think about what DOMS means, but there's like a training an athlete name for onset muscle soreness, delayed onset muscle soreness. I couldn't even feel, because I've been training, and we'll get to the point about training in a second. I've been training with the trainer and doing some gym and swimming. I couldn't feel the club. So I lost the ball. I hit it in the junk off the first tee, had 2 wipes and had 35 points. Yeah, not too bad. But I played with Doc, and he's back, and some of the other Carlton boys, they were good. But the training part, just a bit of housekeeping. So we had a team meeting about this. A couple of us are going to try and get involved. Well, not try, we'll get involved. In my role, in my other world as a drum and golf franchisee, and all the drum and golf franchisees have a commitment to supporting the charity partner of drum and golf, which is Lifeline. When Mike and I donated to Lifeline, when Rocket was going to dye his hair silver, when we goaded Rocket to try and dye his hair silver, and we offered a donation, which we donated.
Even my mum.
Rocket, even your mum donated. Well, Rocket's going to back it up now. But we have this commitment within what we do to support a charity partner. The charity partner's Lifeline. Just donated $74,000. The drum and golf group did recently. But I'm going to do something in conjunction, and Rocket's going to help. The push-up challenge. Now, Lifeline is a push-up challenge partner. So if you see something on the socials that's saying donate to Rossco and Rocket's push-up challenge, click the link. That'd be really kind of you if you did click the link and send some money. It will be going to Lifeline. And the challenge is, I think we've got to do like 3,139 push-ups during 1st to 24th of June. I think we can start early, Rocket. And 3,139 represents how many people have committed suicide during that.
What was the number?
3,139. I'll double check that, and I'll put it up on the socials. But yeah, it's a big number.
130.79 a day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I might have to include push-offs off the edge of the swimming pool, because that's the other big part of my training is swimming. So it might give me, if I can, a push off as a push up, I still got to do a fair few Ks in the pool. So anyway.
I think that would count for 0.25.
Oh, please. Okay, whatever. We'll be doing that. But anyway, the more important thing is we're going to be getting active to do some fundraising for Lifeline, which I feel pretty good about. But I'm also, it's going to motivate me to keep my 3-month training journey. And you know why I'm on a 3-month training journey, gentlemen?
No, we don't know.
I was going to say because you're going to drink way too much when you're in Scotland, but that's not it. You're going to eat too much when you're in Scotland.
Well, that's more to the point. Yeah, you guys know that I don't drink. The listeners now know that I don't drink, but probably much to their surprise. How does he that stupid without drinking? Don't drink. As you can see up there, if you're watching on the YouTube, there's the open yellow head cover. Hasn't moved since last time I pointed to it. Yeah, 3 months. I gave myself a little bit of a 3 months program to get in shape, somewhat of shape, to get to Scotland. So there you go. Little time in nicely, the push-up challenge. What happened last week in golf? Let's go to what I watch the most of, and which is usually one of my key roles. I'm the night shift person. You guys do the morning shifts. DP World Tour. I was getting fairly excited early on. I know why. I know why you're getting excited. Right. Okay. It wasn't about the course. It wasn't about the Rinkven International Golf Club. It looked okay, and that's fine. It was over there in where was it? Belgium. Belgium. Sorry, I don't know much about the golf architecture in Belgium. I know some in the Dutch part of Europe. There's some great links up there, but I don't know much about that. It looked nice, but I was getting excited for the big fella. Oh,
George, is that why?
George Campillo.
Yeah.
Nah. No, I saw George in the
He was in my picks this week.
Was he?
And I forgot to tell you, he was in my picks, and through a couple of rounds, he was right up there, and I thought, oh, Ross will be getting very excited here.
Campillo Watch was not on, and it usually is. And usually you might find a hashtag Campillo Watch out there somewhere. George probably saw that somewhere and dropped off me. But no, I did see Jorge Campillo pop up the leaderboard there, and it opened my eyes. But I'm a big Ryan Fox fan. I love Foxy. Don't know him. Met him once. My Mercedes-Benz friends played with him at the Pro-Am at 13th Beach a few years ago. Met him, said g'day. That was about it. But I just love, I love Big Foxy. I love everything about him. I love the gait, the walk. I love how hard he goes at it, how he's just a knockabout fella. I love his golf swing. You know, it's like they had endless amounts of slow-mos of Foxy's golf swing, and they were like as mesmerized by it. The positions that he gets into, the hold off, it's magnificent. And then they put the camera on, his 2 irons that he was hitting off the tee everywhere. And they go about 5 feet in the air, and they go about 400 meters. And it was just poetry for me. And I think I went to bed it was at the 8th hole on the last round. I thought I can either stay up or I can go to bed. I just seen my football team in Scotland get thrashed. Saw the other team win. Ange Postecoglou, congratulations to you on winning the first Scottish Premiership with Celtic. You are a hero to the Celts, but you're a bloody good coach and an Aussie. I'm glad to see you doing well over there, as all of people in Scotland who support Celtic would be. My team got humped by Rangers, so I went to bed because I thought if I go to bed, Foxy will win. And he was like 3 or 4 up, and then he lost. I woke up the next morning and he lost. What happened?
The last 3 holes. The last 3 holes, it was a 2-shot swing, and that's what he got rolled by. I think Horsfield made one. It was pretty benign, but I'll look it up. But I'm sure Horsfield made a birdie on maybe 17, and Foxy had made a bogey or 2 bogeys in the last couple, and that was it. That's what cooked him. Well,
we've spoke about Sammy Horsfield on the podcast before. We've had a little bit of a look into Sammy, and we tipped him as being someone who's probably got some better golf ahead of him. He'll be happy to win that. He's the most un-English sounding Englishman that you've ever listened to. But he was due another win, and he's a good fella. So good luck to him. But bad luck, Foxy.
Tell you what, I caught up with some mates on Sunday afternoon for a birthday party, and they were talking about golf. And I won't go down the rabbit hole of the live stuff, but it was amazing. A bunch of guys that don't know and don't really follow golf that wanted to talk for about half an hour about the Saudi Golf League. But the other thing they wanted to talk about was Sam Horsfield's caddy. Did you happen to see his caddy?
Was his girlfriend or partner?
It was his girlfriend, who was an 11 out of 10. And as he walked onto the first tee on the final day, here she is just giving him a little kiss on the lips. Good luck. And it was just what a normal couple would do. But it was just so weird seeing 2 people standing in a tournament, and even like mid hole, he'd be sort of standing there and she'd be sort of half leaning on him with the bag. It's just like you like that for a Sunday hit. It was great.
I'm sure there's plenty of players that could take a leaf out of Horsfield's book and Westie's book, and just not GAF, and get your partner. But I'm sure there's plenty that wouldn't be either. But anyway, good on you, Sammy. Well done. Rocket, how are you? You've been a bit quiet there. You've got your background up. Of course, you've probably been sitting on the background for a week preparing it. What's my background going to be next episode? The PGA is coming up. Phil's the defending champion. You've curated the picture. You've probably enhanced a little bit to make it look great in the background there for the YouTube followers. And no Phil.
No.
So, no Phil.
There's the Phil Mickelson live stuff. That's an episode on its own.
Okay. So, for those of us that don't know, what is the Phil Mickelson live stuff? Without making an episode on its own, is he just not ready, or is this him just he really is going across there?
I actually think I think he's going to go all in. I think he didn't want the PGA to be the first event back because there's still a whole bucket load of Phil fans, and he's just going to be, he will be the draw card for whatever that event is. So, because they've all been denied, I think at his age, you know, he can play in all the majors unless they ban him. And then PGA Tour, I think he's looking at it going 8 events a year plus majors. There's 12 plus maybe some exhibition stuff. That's the max that he probably want to play for the next 5 years. So I actually reckon he's going to go boots and all, and his first tournament back will be that live event in London,
which is like 3 weeks, a month away.
2 weeks away, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Phil's been out there on the range grinding and keeping in shape.
Yep. But it won't matter how he plays. It's just him, his first round coming back.
Yeah.
Will be part of the live thing. And I reckon he, you know, maybe because of the blowback, you know, if I was him, I'd be negotiating probably a bit more money. Like, you know, I've already lost X amount of sponsors just being associated with you. I need some more guaranteed cash. Because if I come and do this, I will shed more. He will, you know, what will happen with his Callaway lifetime contract?
What will happen to his PGA Tour pension? What will happen to it? No more starts on the Champions Tour, where he's just literally turning up and taking cash.
Was the just roll back on the Callaway thing now? Was that just more so because of his choice of language and words that weren't deemed to be appropriate in discussing, you know, the whole Saudi regime, or was it because he was going to play in that? Because I don't imagine that, you know, he's going to be one of several players that are branded with other brands and Callaway that might jump across to it in the eventuality. Was it because of that, or was it just because of, you know, are they going to take that away because he chooses to play over there?
Don't know. If you're a brand, do you want to be associated?
Can they wear brands? That's odd. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, there's some.
They'll probably be able to wear brands. That won't be a problem at all. But the thing is, though, if you're a brand, if you are a brand, and that player, you're endorsing that player, do you want to be associated with it?
Yeah, 100%.
Because he's already lost 2.
Yeah. But if you're there and they've already announced they're going to have uniforms, what's to say that they turn around and say, well, we're giving you enough money, you don't need to be wearing a
correct. And that would also, but the thing is, though, someone like Phil, he averages about 50 million off the course. So he would be going, I'm going to shed them all. I'm going to lose them all. You need to ratchet it up. And some of these are lifetime contracts, right? So, you know, those contracts would extend well beyond his playing career. So, yeah.
So do you think Shark and Phil have kissed and made up?
Money would say probably yes.
Yeah, okay. I don't think they're fussed. Did you see the interesting story today about Jack? That
they offered him 100 million.
They'd offered him the role that Norman's doing.
Yeah.
For 100+ million, and he said no. Why would you?
Yeah, Jack.
What would you do with 100 million?
I don't know. I'm going to win 80 on Thursday night.
I really hope you do.
Thank you. I'll be able to pay you.
Just remember the little people.
I'll be able to pay you blokes 30 up every week. Every stupid evening o'clock. No, seriously. Rocket, you are right. There is probably a whole, you know, in the lead up to that, you know, we'll treat that like a lead up to a major, which tonight is. Of course, it's PGA week.
Look, the live thing, we probably, you know, maybe in the lead up to the tournament that's going in London, we have to have an episode that focuses on it, because there's so many threads to pull on this thing.
Yeah. All right. So,
and it sucks that he's not defending.
Agreed.
Even though you know, Shark and Phil may have kissed and made up, you and Phil haven't really kissed and made up, have you? You're still blocked. You know,
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's not blocked on my burner account. So here's the thing, right? He's doing. again, I'm going to probably leave a lot of stuff in the chamber for whatever that other episode is. You know, Phil and I share a star sign, so I understand how his mind works.
We're going astrological now.
Yeah.
What star sign are you?
Gemini.
That makes sense.
Oh, bloody Geminis.
I actually have no idea. I just
Yeah,
want to say that. That's what people say.
When is Gemini?
Oh, he's such a Gemini.
Two-person split personality.
When's Gemini?
June.
June. Okay. Before
22nd of May to 22nd of June. Phil Mickelson is 16th of June.
So Gemini, Taurus, then Leo, you right?
No, Taurus, Gemini.
Taurus, Gemini. What
Gemini,
goes in?
Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo.
Oh, Cancer, Leo. Yeah, okay, yeah. What are you? What star sign are you, Mike?
This is the weirdest golf episode ever. I'm an Aries. That makes sense, doesn't it? Such an Aries.
Is it? It's March, isn't it?
Yeah, we just passed.
Yep. Did we miss it? When was your birthday?
Week before the Masters issue.
What, Peak Ready week?
No, it was a week after. Week after.
A week after Peak Ready week.
Yeah. Yep, that's correct.
Happy birthday. Go that back then. July for me, Leo.
Thanks for the present, guys.
Yeah, no worries. Leo, 29th of July.
Oh, stubborn.
No, not at all.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. But if you win 60 million or 80 million, I never said that.
Wouldn't it be nice? Where would you go? We've had this conversation. Where would you go? What would you do? Let's give us your golfing versions of what you would do if you won $80 million.
I'd grab you two blokes and the doc, and we would do Pinehurst for a week, and then we'd go to Bandon Dunes for a week.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's got to be some other things that you'd fit into there. Like, would you buy a house somewhere? Would you,
Yeah, I'll think about all the other stuff while I'm playing golf when I'm, my mind's free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Magic, what would you do?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think those two spots for me are on the list of the places I want to go. But Rocket's just shouted me, so I don't know. Wouldn't waste the rest of my money on that if Rocket's already paying. I don't know. I think I'd be just more intent on setting up somewhere nice to live here and joining a couple of really nice golf clubs, and then envisaging the rest of my days playing golf twice a day, and Michael Jordan style.
Okay, you guys are pretty easy. So somewhere nice, somewhere nice to live here. I don't know where that'd be, like Sanctuary Lakes or something like that. You want to buy a house near the first tee at Sanctuary Lakes?
Point Cook, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
that's the first place on my list.
So somewhere like down next to buddy Mike Clayton and Andy Lee down at St Andrews Beach or thereabouts. Yeah, okay, I get that. But nowhere exotic. Like for me, I'm buying a place at Lynch. I'm near the fifth tee, the little road just across there. I'm buying one of those. I'm just chipping and putting on the Dell every night during summer.
I'd buy a house on Tara Edie. There you go.
Yeah, I'd do that too.
Yeah, do that. If I was to do one in the UK, it'd be near Liverpool, because then I could go watch Liverpool play.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, buy a place just across the road from Anfield. So go watch them play and then go play golf in the afternoon at Royal Liverpool.
I don't know if I'd try and buy a house next to Beanie's house. She's on the corner of the first tee. The 18th tee at North Berwick, just looking out across the Bass Rock. At the 18th tee, you can see Beanie's house there, obviously the Solheim Cup captain of Europe, the winning Solheim Cup captain. Or St Andrews, or would I go up a little bit further up, maybe Cruden Bay or up to Dornoch or something like that. But definitely somewhere in Lahinch, because I just love that place. But there'd be somewhere else in Scotland, whether it's North Berwick or somewhere up further afield, maybe out at Macrahanish, or maybe, I don't know. But it won't surprise you guys to know that I'd certainly be flicking on the internet version of car sales and looking for a Pilatus PC12 low miler. I'll be,
of course,
painting that up with the M-Log decolletage on the back, subletting it to Air Adventure in the off season.
I think you just burnt through literally your whole 80 million.
No, that can't be that much. I don't know if anyone knows how much a PC12 is. Let me know.
The liabilities of that thing crashing.
Floats, flies, and feeds. Is that something like that? Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Anyway, the PGA silliness. Good luck to everyone with who plays Powerball. Especially you, Dad. You're the lucky one of the family now. You've taken the mantle over from Mum. It's all to you, Murray Flanagan. The PGA. Rocket, talk to us about where the PGA is at. What do you know about it, and what are your expectations?
Should we cover the Byron Snooze Nelson?
Well, we can do that. Well, no, let's do the PGA and come back to the. I think you wrapped it up into one of there, the snooze, or does the snooze lead into the PGA?
I was thinking about it today. The Byron Nelson, and even some of these events, I feel like I reckon out of the 52 weeks of the year, I pick my calendar in terms of ones I'm going to watch, almost like I'm a professional golfer, because there are some where it's like, I ain't watching that. I'm not getting up early to watch that. And Byron Nelson is one because of just, they moved away from Trinity Forest. They moved away from Las Colonas before that. So interesting courses and tracks. They've gone to this place. Sure, I got no problem with someone shooting low. But the thing is, if the canvas that they are playing on is a little bit snoozy, I'm not watching it.
I think the course is the tricky part with the course. It's stuck between a rock and a hard place, because if they did what they'd done the week before and turned it into a past 70, and the winning score was 16 under, it would have been a really ugly 16 under. Like the fact that there was a few holes that were drivable par fours and other bits and pieces, the only thing
short
that
par
gave it a bit of
fives.
liveliness.
Yeah, it was like it was birdie fest.
Yeah, but then that's cool, but I don't know. It was just a bit of a nothing.
Yeah, there's no balance between there's a balance between making lots of birdies and having some contest and kind of bit of tension versus just every day there's some dude shooting 62.
Yep. And you got half a field who's there for a jog because they don't want to run themselves ragged before the week before a major.
To warm up.
And then you got other guys that are having a dip, like the winner who's won it back to back, KH Lee, 2 years in a row.
Hats off to KH Lee.
I had a lot of people at that party that was on Sunday that were saying, is there anyone that can come from deep? And I said, look, everyone's going to shoot good scores all week. They've been, I think, round one, Munoz shot 12 under. So 60 was certainly a chance. I think James Hunt did it on Saturday. But yeah, I didn't pick KH Lee. I wasn't paying enough attention to notice that the winner from the year prior was even in the mix. I think he was about 80 to 100 to 1 before the tournament started. And I think he was about 45 on Saturday or Sunday night our time before the last round. So, good luck to him.
That's it.
Yeah, that was it. That was a tournament. Spieth and Matsuyama and Xander and JT and all these other guys, were right in the mix, but off a pretty ordinary field, and weren't really pushing too hard, I don't think.
Did Spiethy throw it away in the end with that 3-putt?
I don't know. He had a bit of a funny week. I mean, he sort of just did what he had to do. He had just an average final round. I mean, 5 under final round, he lost to the bloke who shot 9 under. So, and he got him by 1. So, I mean, if you're in the top couple and you've got Munoz ahead of you by 1 and you shoot 5 under, you would have thought you'd be well and truly the winner. And someone's had to go pretty deep to beat you.
Yeah.
No, I think he's finding form at the right time. He won his last start and he's done well here. And
who did you pick, Mike, again?
I changed my pick. So, I mean, I didn't change. I had a couple of people that I tipped on the Twitter, but the two guys that I was tossing up between were a bit of a long shots. They were Luke List and Mark Leishman. And I think I had Leishman in my tip in the one and done originally, and I switched it to Luke List or vice versa. No, I did that. That's what I did. And Luke List missed the cut by 1. So I got $0. And I think Leash got, $27.50. So I didn't really miss too much.
And Rocket Man?
Sorry, a little cough. My one and done was Scottie
Scheff, yeah.
Yeah, he did all right.
He did. He just plugged along. You got your $160,000. And Rossco, you had
Shocker. Will's Latterus.
Yes. He was probably in my top couple of picks. I thought he'd go very well, but did not.
No.
In our tipping comp, the only 2 people had Jordan Spieth as our best performers. One was Justin Bissica. I'm going to say that's how you pronounce his name, Justin. If it's not, I apologize. And the other one is Bobby, and I know who Bobby is because I didn't know who Bobby was, but it's actually a friend of mine who's been living in the States, and he's back in Australia. And I saw him a couple of weeks back, and he said he's been listening and he's in the tipping competition. So
shout out
to Bobby.
Shout out to Bobby. Well done on getting the Spieth man. And is he up there? Where's Bobby? How's he going?
Bobby's going. Well, he's just past me, so I don't want to hear about that. He was, with his 900 grand, he's now a couple hundred past me.
Just quietly, everyone's past us.
No, it's true. The Shermanator still leading 7.5. Nomadic Golfer 5.6. Public Golf 5.4. No 3 putts 5.2. Mitchell Lloyd is up into 5th with just over 5 million.
Yeah, Michael Lloyd, avid listener. Sorry, it's Michael. Sorry, Michael. Michel, not Mitchell. But yeah, Michael, g'day. If you want painting done, reach out to Michael Lloyd. Great painter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rocket's still in 13th. Posy, I'm in 30th, and Rossco, you're in 35th. But there's a major coming up, and the prize pool this week is 12 million. So that's a good one to get if you can get it.
Okay, so that leads us into talking about, are we done with the Byron Snooze Nelson, as you call it, Rocket?
Yeah.
Okay. Leads us into the PGA. Rocket, what do you know about the course where the PGA is being played? The course being Southern Hills. It looks like a bit of a beast. It's shaping up to be that.
Well, people need to remember that it originally was supposed to be Trump Bedminster before the riots. And then when that went down, PGA said, you're out, and did the call out to a heap of courses. And there was a short list, and Southern Hills was picked off the rack. And I think they were holding some other tournament, I think already scheduled. So it just made quite clear sense. And it's been a major venue for a number of years. Tiger won a PGA there, I think. You had the Goose won the US Open there in 2001. Nick Price won PGA there in 94. Perry Maxwell course, and redesigned most recently by Mr. Gil Hanse. So bringing back a lot of the old greens, contours, bunkers, shot shapes, removing trees, replacing bunkers into some other shots to return shot values, etc. And the other things with the course is, they've not tried to tighten it up too much, the fairways, because it is small greens, but then also, some of the videos and things that I've seen. So there's a lot of the mown areas and runoffs and stuff like that. So not just pure thick rough. And then the other beauty is that it's going to be Bermuda, and anyone who's played out of Bermuda will realize that is going to create some fun for shots from, irons into the greens, and especially around the greens, because the ball does weird things and it's really hard to get out of. Because the first time I experienced it, I was like, oh, that's what all the fuss is about.
So just for the non-greenkeepers amongst us, give everyone your best description of what makes Bermuda and what it is so different, and relate it to a eastern state scenario. So if you're a Queenslander, if you're a New South Welshman, or you're a Sandbelt Victorian or a Victorian playing off Gooch, what's the, what are you experiencing that's different to what you're playing off?
It's nothing like you'll experience here.
Okay. So
absolutely nothing. It's unpredictable,
right?
Because the ball either sits up or it drops down. And when it drops down, it's like it's plugged. So and it's near and when it drops down into the rough, the grass kind of decides to wrap itself around the ball. So it makes it near impossible to actually get even any club face onto this thing. So the first time I experienced it was at Shadow Creek in Las Vegas. And the very first fairway I missed, which was I think it was the 6th hole. And I got up there and I looked down it and I was like, wow, I'm going to have to work really hard to get a sand wedge under this. So I had to take a sand wedge to get it out back into the fairway. And the rough was only not even like an inch and a half thick. It's crazy. And then around the greens, it was a nightmare. It's a nightmare because if it sits up, then it can be a bit wiry. So you can actually very easy go right under it And so you've got to be really good with picking it off that grass, or if it settles down, how far does it settle down? And then how do you get that? How do you get that up? So they're going to have a mix of all of these things around the greens in terms of mown areas. So there's going to be lots of creative shots. The course is going to play hard and fast, and they're going to have Bermuda rough. So this is going to be that one course where you need everything firing to, as most major winners, right? You need your game in shape, right? But the thing is, though, this is going to test everyone. So if you have a particular weakness, it potentially will get exposed at Southern Hills.
So is Bermuda a little bit more like Gooch?
Nah.
Okay.
I literally, I don't really describe it well enough.
I've only played it. I played on it at La Costa in California, and the only thing I remember, and this was a few years ago, I was with Conrad, and the one thing I remember was the first tee ball I hit wasn't great, and it was off in the rough, and it was sitting okay, I thought, and so I was trying to hit like a hybrid out of the rough, like Rocket described. Then it was kind of sitting a little bit down, but not super dead. In normal world here, you just get the hybrid on the back of it and it just take off.
Yep.
I literally nearly ripped my stomach muscles as it came through because the ball went nowhere. It didn't fly.
It's kind of steel wool. I remember I remember the first major or big tournament that I ever watched and heard about Bermuda and the challenges with that was 1990 Shoal Creek. And that's the one that Grades won. And Freddie Couples finished second, I think it was. No, was it 1990? Yeah, it was, because Payne Stewart won 89. So that was the first time seeing a tournament where they talk about it. And I still remember going back to there and you see all the challenges that players would have from the rough and things like that. It's just, and then other tournaments where you'd see them talk about it and then actually experiencing it. It's like, it's unpredictable. It's like steel wool. It's all sorts of things. It's going to present lots of challenges.
Well, the course looks great. Everything that you described, you can see that. It's a quick look at the Southern Hills website. Shows you some of the pictures and what they've done there. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, Golf Digest did a flyover of every hole, which they published the other day. Fried Egg have done some good pieces on that.
Yeah, Fried Egg did a really good podcast, I think about a week ago on the course. It was very, very good.
Just a side issue, just backtracking it a little bit. Gemini, you said you were, Rocket, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Like just the way that you rattled off who has played there, who has won there, when the tournament was, what year it was. Is there anything in the Gemini profile that says, is there a high propensity of savants as Geminis? Can you do some research on that?
I don't know. Me and Phil were weird units.
Yeah, well, this is savant-like recall. And I'm going back to the Greg Norman thing where people are still blown away by your unbelievable recall, as you demonstrated once again there. Okay, so let's get into the playing. Yeah, I've sort of kept all the big guns up my sleeve here, trying to pull some ace cards out to get some money at the big events, which some people might say you're a fool, Ross. You should have used the big cards early, like you used your arms and Schefflers and all that sort of thing. Has Scheffler, is there any chance that if I pull my Scheffler card this week, then I'm going to see some action?
He'll probably finish top 10.
Yeah. The only thing going against Scottie Scheffler is what are the odds of one bloke winning the first two majors?
Yeah.
That's honestly the only thing I can find going against him.
That's probably higher odds than someone winning two majors in their career.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I looked at the course, and Rocket summed it up absolutely perfectly, I've looked at ball striking, I've looked at strokes gained approach. The small greens are going to need to be good. Strokes gained around the green because they're not going to hit the greens all the time. I want to see someone that can putt. Strokes gained approach from around 200, 225 yards. And then par 4 performance from about 450 to 500 because there's a few.
Yeah, that's a good one. I pulled
it all together. the man who ranked on top by 0.01 of a point in my rankings, which doesn't mean anything to anybody, Scottie Scheffler. Scottie Scheffler stacks up perfectly, which makes sense that this tournament feels like it's going to play very similar to the Masters. You're going to need to hit your ball in the right parts of the green. It's going to be hard and fast. The weather's going to be hot. It's going to be 30 degrees and blowy. It's going to be...
Well, the beauty of Oklahoma home is going to be in May and usually not June or August when it's probably at its worst.
Well, when I mean, it'll change obviously like everywhere else, but it actually looked like a bit of a Melbourne summer forecast. It was like 30 degrees, okay, Thursday morning, then windy in the Arvo. Friday, windy all day and 30 degrees, and then thunderstorms coming through like 6 p.m. Friday night, and then 18 degrees, 22 degrees on the weekend. It was like complete, drop away, a bit like a Melbourne cool change.
Who else bubbled to the surface in the data lake?
The data lake. So number 2 on the data lake is Xander Schofley, another one whose stats are going well. He's not someone that I probably would be picking because I don't know that he's a winner.
He's a top 10 lock.
Yeah, a Zurich win doesn't count in my books. Paddy Cantlay and Sam Burns 3 and 4. And then you've got 2 guys that I've had small amounts of shekels on. The first one is Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith, for me, is my one and done pick. I was tossing up between him and Scheffler. But I'm going to take Cam. I think Cam's absolutely cherry ripe to pick up his first major. The only thing that's sort of not normally in his favour is the length of the course, but he has found some pop in the back.
But it should play. It should actually play quite firm and fast, so that might actually help counter some of that.
Exactly. It'll help him get a bit more run out. But I think that he's a wizard around the greens. And
also the fairways are a bit wider as well, right? So it'll probably help because his driving is not the best.
That's the only part that he's down in is his accuracy. And the other one that fills out the top 5 or top 6 is Taylor Gooch again. Taylor Gooch comes up there. He's sitting at around about 100, 120 to 1. He hasn't obviously done too much in the PGA before, but that doesn't really matter. He's an Oklahoma boy. He went to Oklahoma University, I believe, but he also grew up and lives not miles away, or did live not miles away. Came up in the research. So he was someone that I was like, oh yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind someone who would have played here before definitively, certainly through college and maybe as a kid and played similar conditions, be feeling a bit comfortable at home, probably a bit of pride on the line. So yeah, I don't mind him as well.
And then if you got who rounds out the rest of the next 5 on the data?
Yeah, so
I think I probably want to dive a little bit more because the majors, right?
No, of course. Yeah, look, so the next ones the next main ones are kind of more padding out favourites. So Berger, Lowry, Fitzpatrick, JT's certainly one that I'm looking at. Henley and Matsuyama. The one that's kind of in the middle there that's a bit of an odd one is Adam Hadwin. Adam Hadwin came up in the top 10. Wow. I'm not really shopping for Adam Hadwin prices, but I certainly a bit further down have looked at the ones that I've had a look at and had a look to place bets on. Where, as I said, Gooch and Smith, and then the next sort of 3 or 4 were Thomas, Matsuyama. I had a very small bet on Jason Day a couple of weeks ago, and I think he's finding form at the right time, but I just don't know if he's quite there yet. And Jordan Spieth, Jordan Spieth's putting this year is the only thing letting him down, and he's the guy who you think is bulletproof in putting, but this year he's ranked 175th in strokes gained putting. Yeah, you wouldn't have picked that in a million years.
No.
If he can find the putter this week, he will give it a very, very, very big shake. But yes, one and done for me. I'm going with the Aussie. I'm going with Cam Smith to win that, and then I think one of the Aussie girls might win the US Open in a couple of weeks.
I'm going to pull the Scheffler card. I am going to pull it here because I won't pull it. I'm going to pull it. I'm surprised that I hadn't already, but I haven't, so I'm going to. I don't think I picked Scheffler at the Open.
There's aces coming out of every sleeve.
Boom. It's an interesting field. Of course, at the PGA, you've got the mixture of the US PGA professionals that have qualified to play, most of which you've never heard of. You've got some of the previous winners like Rich Beam and John Daly. Is John Daly confirmed? Is he in the list here? Is he going to play?
If he's on the list, he's in.
He's on the list, he's in?
Would have said he's on the list. He's 1,001 in the odds, which means if he's signed on, he's signed on.
Rich Beam's in. If you want to listen to a good podcast, Gordon from Real Life Caddy podcast interviewed Rich Beam not too many episodes ago. Go and listen to that. Rich Beam sounds like a great bloke to listen to and hang out with. Of course, you've got the Europeans that are there. We've got Bobby's playing. Foxy's there from New Zealand. Lucas, where does Lucas Herbert stack up in the lake?
I just knew, like, as soon as you said there's a lot of different people that are playing in this tournament, I scrolled right down to the bottom of the lake and I started looking, and there's a bunch of people. And I mean, there's a lot of people here that I don't have data for because I don't pull in the Euro stats. So I've got 57 people that don't have stats. But other than that, I've got pretty much the top 100 players. Lucas ranks 94th in the data. But again, that doesn't mean he can't win. It just means the data doesn't point to the fact that he's ranked number 6 this year on the PGA Tour in putting in strokes gained. Every other stat that I'm looking at is bottom percentile, sort of 200, 200 and 150th in ball striking, things like that. But again, that's on how he's performed this year in his limited starts. So it needs more time to sort of catch up.
I think Herbert's secret is if he keeps that driver under control and in play, he could be anywhere.
Mm.
Okay. Anywhere else? Aussies we've got Matty Jones, we've got Cam Smith, Cam Davis, we've got Jason Day, we've got Herbie, of course, Leash, we've got Adam. Is that Adam's in there? Yeah. Who else? Anyone else? No one of any note from the Aussies. No, that's it.
Normally, it's easy to sort of predict who's going to be there from the Aussies because effectively you just get the guys that are on tour all the time. But with the way they work out who qualifies, you get that very mixed field, like you said, Ross. You get a real different set. It's funny to even think that Foxy and Sam Horsfield and those guys are all playing in this tournament after being in Belgium last week.
So would they have qualified? How do they qualify? Through not surely not that result, or is that world standings, or?
No, they'd have certain events in Europe that would be classified as qualifiers.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so I think Horsfield actually would have made it on world ranking. I think.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been far away. I mean,
and
he
Fox,
won those.
yeah, and Foxy would have been, could be order of merit, could be a particular event where they go, here's the amount of spots, like they do for the Open.
So the Aussies, I know you went through them, but I've got them is Cam Smith, Jason Day, Adam Scott, Mark Leishman, Cam Davis, Matt Jones, Lucas Herbert, and Minwoo Lee.
Oh, Minwoo's there. Of course he is.
Can't forget Minwoo.
He was very excited to see Minjee win this week in the LPGA Tour, beating Lexi Thompson, which was great for Aussie golf. Minjee Lee is a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous golfer. Okay, what else? Rocket, who are you going with?
My boy.
Brooks.
Really?
He's back. Brooks is back. He's back to your boy.
Really? Okay.
And also not going to get odds like this on Brooks going into a major.
No. I wholeheartedly agree with you. If you like Brooks, you pick him because we know how he performs in PGAs and majors. And you're not going to get these odds very often. And so when he gets up there, you take him. The only thing I'm worried about is he injured? He withdrew last week, was it?
I reckon he's like, I'm not going to waste my energy. Yep. I'm good.
No, 100%.
I reckon he's gone. I'm good.
Yeah. I hope it is. I saw someone write somewhere that he's hurt his groin. I don't know whether that's right, wrong, or otherwise. But yeah, I think for that price, it's worth a risk.
And then so he's my one and done. He's one I've also put some hard earn on, but the other one is my boy Max, which I jumped on him a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yep.
Because I think it's like the odds and everything feels like it's coming together because this will be the type of test: firm, hard, fast, small greens. He has a good record on courses with small greens.
Yeah.
And the thing that would usually hold him back, his putter, he's kind of found a bit of a rhythm, and his wedge game. There's all these little things that he's improved, and off the tee, he's a bullet.
It's like we always say. I mean, you look at Max's stats. He's 137th in stats around the green. but that's for this year. Now, for the last 2 weeks, he's been doing that well. He's on that upward trajectory that we've always talked about.
Yep.
If you find that peak for 1 week, that's when you win.
So I got him a little bit at the Wells Fargo, and I've gone in hard again for the PGA. I thought, this is one of the few times I could probably.
You didn't bet Ricky Fowler?
I was just looking here at Ryan Fox and Ricky Fowler sitting next to him. Speaking about Liv, he popped up in the Liv discussion again this week.
Who cares what Ricky says?
Ricky, everyone
like really, he's going to be rocking the orange every day here because he went to Oklahoma State. Whoopie doo-dah. Wear your orange, Ricky. Woo, 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 woo.
We'll be wearing it for 2 days. Not every
Whatever, mate. Yeah, 2 days. Yeah, 2 days.
Wow.
He'll probably go out and win now. No, I think Ricky's done very well in life. His partner is absolutely stunning, and he's clearly happy in life. It'd be great to see him come back and play some good golf, but whether he plays on the Saudi funded tour or not, I don't know how that's the story. He's not a top tier player anymore.
No. Mr. Irrelevant.
Okay, so Ricky Fowler, that's a long way to get around saying that Ricky Fowler's not going to win, Mike, and he's not factoring into any of the Data Lake calculations.
He's drowning in the Data Lake.
Yes. Do any of the Europeans fit in there? Is Tommy in there? Fitzmagic?
It's tricky because a lot of them don't have enough starts on the PGA Tour. Fitzy does. So Fitzy comes up very high. So Fitzy ranks number 10.
Of all the Europeans, I'd have Fitzy, and the others I probably wouldn't even throw a shoe at them.
No. I mean, you got to remember, Rory's, if you count him as a Euro, he's 22nd. But Zadenhout, not really. No, there's not too many that are on there. I mean, Tommy Fleetwood's on there, but he ranks quite a ways down. He'd be, 42. But again, it just depends on those stats.
At what point are we going to stop talking about Tommy and bringing him up? He's living off that 63 at Shinnecock.
I mean, what's he done here? No, he hasn't had any good performances in the PGA.
You take out the performance in that final round of the 2018 US Open. He's done Bezudenhausen.
He finished 14th at the Masters this year. That's the only thing I can see in front of me that I go,
backdoored that one too, Rory style.
Yeah. Other than that, there's nothing else yelling at me that says he's a chance.
Speaking of Rory, if you were following the Slovakian Rory, you might have had some solid collects in the tipping comp because he's finished reasonably well the last few weeks. But why is Rory Sabatini not in the field?
Probably didn't rank higher enough.
Okay, fair enough. I was expecting to
silver medal. Obviously, is not worthy.
He's dining out invitations of run dry on the silver medal. Okay, anyway, all right. Justin Rose? No.
I think the future of European golf is,
he's not living. He's not live.
True. Victor Hovland and those guys that they're going to classify as European Tour players, European players for the Ryder Cup, but they're going to play on the PGA Tour.
And I'll be surprised if Victor even makes the cut here. This course is going to chew him up around the greens.
He's not. I think there'll be some shaky little
if he
some runoff areas.
If he makes the cut and he's chipping it all right, I'll be very, very surprised. He'll be having a blinder.
And this is the funny thing, right? So, like I've given you all the stats and the numbers and bits and pieces. If you look at the guys that are in the top 16, Hovland ranks 16, right? And everything's color coded on the data lake. He's ranked 210. It is bright red in the middle of a sea of green stats because everyone's green if they're filtered to the top, and he's red. 210. There would only be 230 players that have played that would have had stats to qualify. He's so far down in strokes gained around the green, it's frightening. The only other one that's up there that's even close to that is Cole Morikawa's 192 and Lowry 143.
The thing is, though, Cole has his peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
And everything else stays consistent, where Hovland is just trough.
Yeah.
And if he just improved by a little bit,
yeah.
I think he could be
not there though. His belief is he believes he's bad with chipping.
And that's his problem.
Which is not a good start.
No.
Being better at chipping.
I felt reach out to to Hovland. I did actually have a reasonable chipping round the other week. I used the Tour Edge Super Spin wedge, cavity back, big flange. It was one that I had to test, and it's nothing like anything that you, I, or otherwise would use. And I probably had one of my best chipping rounds using this quite big forgiving wedge around the green. Very good.
There you go.
There you go. So Victor, maybe try a cavity back wedge. Reviews coming soon. Okay. Anyone else? Who else? Anyone? Who are, for the people that like the data lake, who are the top 16? Give us a rundown.
The top 16.
Well, you said top 16.
Just rattled off. He's already rattled off 10.
Schofley, Cantlay, Burns, Gooch, Smith, Berger, Hadwin, Lowry, Fitzmagic, Thomas, Henley, Matsuyama, Horschel, Pereira, Victor Hovland.
Okay. There you go. For the second time. All right.
Look, anyone that's keen, they always message me. So I'm sure there'll be a few people messaging on the socials to find out. Can I see a picture of the lake? Or who are the picks?
Do you send a picture of the lake?
Yep.
Okay.
A screenshot of the filtered. Normally, people want to see, because the rankings are irrelevant, but they're already in order. And then it runs into how they performed at this tournament and then how they performed coming in. But performed in this tournament is not relevant for the PGA because it's not the same course.
Do you know if any of the people that you shared that with have used those tips to success and garner profit?
Yeah. A couple of the boys have. I know Hammertow has.
Okay.
And there's at least a couple of guys that have sent me messages that they were very happy. And someone sent me a message. I can't remember who it was the other day. Someone sent a message saying, "Thanks very much for that pick. It got me all the money back I lost on the horses on the weekend."
Okay, well,
there you go.
I'm going. You don't have to disclose who's used your information that you spend hours at toiling away providing, and you provide that to them for free. I'm going somewhere because I will be expecting you to share Rocket and I's link for the push-up challenge to those people, so they can invest some shekels, some quarter of them in for a good cause. There you go. Okay. Minjie Lee, she won over at Upper Montclair Country Club. Oh, sorry.
Can we just one closing thought around Southern Hills?
Yes.
So
give us two.
There's lots of people that are going to hear either other podcasts or on the broadcast and hear the word Southern Hills has Augusta-like greens. Now, what people really need to understand why Southern Hills has Augusta-like greens, it's because Perry Maxwell built and designed Augusta National Greens.
He's the father of the 10th hole, the man who made the 10th hole what it is at Augusta.
Mm-hmm. He when Dr. McKenzie was building courses and needed greens, he got Mr. Maxwell. So he did also Crystal Downs for him. He did the greens at Pine Valley. And he did all of Augusta Nationals.
I think the key thing I've heard, obviously the greens aren't as big here as they are at Augusta.
But it's all about the tiers and the shelves and the spots.
Exactly.
So at Augusta, the greens are big, but the thing is, though, where they put the pins, the spots and the shelves are very small, and it's all about target. You got to be on the right spot, target golf, etc. And that's exactly what Southern Hills is.
Okay. Anything else about Southern Hills?
Doc's there, the marketing manager.
On the ground. Doc's on the ground.
I thought we might have had him live. We'll be able to get him.
Oh, we can get him on the weekend maybe when we do the cut. Maybe if we do a cut podcast or something. But he's in LA as we speak. He's gone to bed, but he was out eating Mexican tonight, enjoying life. I asked him if he was going to go shoot out to Rustic Canyon like he did with me the last time we were there, and he said the wife won't let him. So
what's the purpose of his trip? Is it a work trip or is it just golf? Or if his wife's
his brother-in-law lives over there.
Okay,
lives in Tulsa.
Yep. That's right.
He gave him had some access to some passes, and it was a good time for he and his wife to go out and visit family, and worked well for him to go to the golf.
Oh, we look forward to sharing some of his imagery from with you from up close. I'm assuming you're allowed to take pictures and phones and all that sort of thing into the PGA. So that'll be good.
Yep. And you're allowed to sell your Apple phone for a bottle of water or half a glass of beer based on the price of the.
That's what I was going to say. There are two things that we haven't spoken about. The price of beer and other things there was ridiculous. Like
$18 for a 500 ml can of beer.
$18 for a can of Budweiser. Like, please, what's that Australian? Like $27 or something like that? $30? Yeah, not quite. Whatever.
Budweiser, you might as well just buy a bottle of Mount Franklin.
Well, I can't remember what the water price was. Ridiculous too.
It was all ridiculous. Tiger. That's the other thing we didn't talk about.
Who?
Tiger.
Oh,
whatever.
Yeah.
Don't care. It's not that I don't care about Tiger. It's like he's playing. If he plays, it's great. I don't care what Tiger does. Tiger could go and take a whiz on the first tee and then walk back to his car and fly out. I don't care.
Be a good story though.
It would be a very good story. Whatever Tiger does, great. I think the expectation in us talking about Tiger, he's done everything for the game. He's done everything for me. Well, I expect nothing else from him.
Look, I hope he has a good week. He said he's feeling stronger, much stronger than he was at the Masters, which is great. It's obviously not as hilly. Good luck to him. I hope he plays well. But yeah,
that's it.
If he does, he does, and he does, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
I think his eyes are firmly set on the next tournament you're heading to, Ross.
The Open, the 150th at St Andrews. Okay. Starting to put a schedule together, or somewhat of a schedule. Trying to work out where I'm going to be and what time. So it's looking good. Okay. Anything else? Final closing on the PGA as we tick the hour mark here of the recording. Rocket, final, done?
No, I got nothing else. I've probably got nothing else to talk about, really.
Okay, well, we're very close to wrapping up. Mike, did you watch Minjee Lee salute over Lexi Thompson? It's great to see Lexi Thompson still playing well. She's a great golfer and she's had a long, successful career on the LPGA. Minjee did pip her by a couple of shots, which was great. She is a great golfer, a very good stateswoman for Australian golf internationally. Mike, did you watch any of that?
I did watch a little bit. I watched a little bit on their Saturday time and a little bit of the final round, not a lot. There was a bit of a time there where they were crossing paths with the same time as the other tournaments. So I was chopping in and out. It was a good, looked like a really good course. I really liked the look of it. It was a little bit benign. I think I said to you before we started recording, Rossco.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like it was pretty friendly sort of golf, a little bit of target practice on a few of the holes coming in, especially on when I was watching on their third round. And she was leading from a long way out and she just did well to close. I think her scorecard, I'm looking at her scorecard now. On the front nine, she had a bogey. She's probably a little bit shaky. But then, she had three birdies on the back nine. Doesn't hurt. And it was a nice, comfortable win. It'd be good to see her get just a couple more wins because she's had a history recently where she's been sort of right up there in contention and then fallen away a little bit, or not fallen way down, but solid top fives, but just pegging off 2 or 3 wins would be fantastic.
Well, her next event will be the US Women's Open, which isn't till June, the first weekend in June. So we'll see how she goes there.
I did say a good stat. I think we retweeted it. The Minjee Lee stat around her strokes gained approach or her proximity stats for, it was 10-yard increments from like 150 into 100, whatever it was, and she leads the tour on every single yardage.
She's a ball striking machine.
Ball striking and her shots into greens is
ball striking machine. That's why she won LA Open a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and her putter has been probably the part that's not been her best. But when someone asked what her putting stats were, I went and had a look. She's ranked 10th in the amount of putts she's taking or putting average once she's on the greens in regulation. So that's always a better stat than just numbers of putts. So it sounds like she's getting the putter in order, which means that we hopefully will see a few more wins.
Okay. The ladies European tour finished up in Bangkok. That was the Aramco series. I think it was a teams event. Manon Deroe was part of the team that won that.
Saudi sponsored.
Yeah, Aramco's Saudi money. Yes.
Yep. That's the multi-trillion-dollar nation fund,
public investment fund.
Yeah. Because we've got about $2.2 trillion in cash, which is Aramco is also then the primary sponsor or funder of LIV.
Yep, and they just about own the Formula One stuff too. Because every time you see Formula One, it's all over the place.
Yep.
Look, without going down that rabbit hole, the web's into various businesses that we don't get full disclosure of or know of. Maybe not just the Saudis, but a lot of the Emirati countries. And not saying that they're all the same as the Saudis, absolutely not. But the webs of ownership, in the car industry and all that sort of thing of the Middle Eastern countries, far and wide, and Saudis part of that, and Formula One, and you name it. Anyway, enough about that. Man under Rowie is Johanna Gustafsson and Panicorn Tavatanakit. Was 1, 2, and 3. A couple of Scots in there. My friend Gabrielle McDonald didn't have the greatest week, but she finished at 52. And I did see her with a new chipping action, and she had stopped off in Western Australia. And who did Gabrielle McDonald go to for some chipping tutelage while in Western Australia?
Rummy.
Correct.
Yes.
It was great. She posted a video of this chipping action, and I spent time on the range with Gabrielle, and I said, talk to me about what you're doing chipping. And this was obviously a few years ago. And she taught me what she's seeing. She just wants to see a nice soft ball flight and hit the ball softly and get the ball to land soft and all that sort of thing. That makes perfect sense. Can't do it, but makes sense. I saw this video of her chipping. I thought that chipping action looks familiar. Sent her a message. Great action. She said, yeah, stopped off and saw Brett Rumford. And I thought makes perfect sense. So there you go.
Chipper.
Well done to you, Rummy. All right. Gents, anything else? Nothing else?
Pilatus PC12, 2 to 3 million. Look it up.
Oh, easy.
Change. Get a couple.
Yeah. One each. One each. One based in Queensland, one based in Tassie going back the way, and one based in Melbourne going the other one. Maybe a based one in Cessnock, just up in the Hunter Valley, and we'll do some Newcastle runs. Yeah, beautiful.
Easy.
Palo Alto sponsorship on the tail rocket. Yeah. Seat for Simon. No. Okay. All right. Gents, thanks very much. We'll see you next week. For everyone listening, thank you for getting this far. Some other big things happening. Teeing up another Old Salty app with the guys from Old Salty with some guests. So more about that when it happens. But the Old Salty boys want to do a few things, and they've asked us to help. So I'm looking forward to another little project, part of the Mile of Golf podcast, but with the guys from Old Salty. So more on that as it comes to hand. And I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff. Playing golf this week. So, Rocket, you should get out and play golf. The kids, they're good. How'd their lessons go?
Yeah, they're getting there. Picked up their clubs. I get to use them next week.
Okay. Very good. All right. We'll see you next week on the Mile of Golf podcast. Until then, play well.